joined here by Andreas Rompel, VP Exploration, and we've been chatting a little bit about why we're excited about Addana. Let's share some of those thoughts with the shareholders so they know why we are excited.
As you had mentioned before, if you go to Google Earth and you zoom in, you can literally see thousands of these veins. These veins have various orientations. Some follow axial planes, some follow the pure shear conjugate sets, and others follow the compressional shear strength. But that's enough of the terminology. We are in the anti-atlas, which is a gently folded orogeny and mountain range, and it has a moderate kind of topography. In other words, you can climb all the mountains there. And so did the artisanal miners in the past. And they were digging along those thousands of veins. And as you mentioned in the slag, we know exactly what they were digging up. It was silver, it was lead, and it was zinc, and copper. So we know what is in there. And now we want to go and under-drill their workings.
Yeah. Been fortunate to talk to a few of the old timers in there, and they tell some pretty good stories about how rich the veins were, them getting wider as they went deeper, and the periodicity that like finding the veins every few meters. What would you compare this to? What is it analogous of?
It would be something like polymetallic veins. They're in sediments, and it has to do with the orogeny, with the anti-atlas having been squashed together, which is actually an orogeny which we have in Canada too. We can see that in Nova Scotia, for instance.
Oh, interesting.
Where in southern Nova Scotia actually fits, if you reshove the puzzle with a continental drift, southern Nova Scotia fits onto Morocco.
Does it really?
Yes, it does. Same sediments, same fossils that we have seen in Morocco, in those millions of shops where we buy those trilobites and ceratites and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. So is that like, again, ignorance, but like the Bathurst formations and stuff like that you see in that end up being lead zinc in Nova Scotia?
Could be related. We're going back to a time where the Atlantic had not opened up, and a predecessor to the Atlantic, the Iapetus Ocean, closed up. In other words, North America bumped onto Africa and Europe, closed the old ocean, formed these orogenies, formed the veins with the mineralization, and then later on in Jurassic times, it opened up again to form the Atlantic.
Okay. Now, for the actual drill program, do you want to summarize kind of what we have planned?
Yes, what we have planned, we have two areas. One is what we call the Antenna Hill, and this is where the old timers mentioned some high grade intersections there, or not intersections, diggings.
Yes.
Because we want to intersect with the drill holes. So they went down to something like 20 meters, not deeper. Most of them are actually like 3 or 4 meters deep, not deeper. So these veins are actually highly frequent. In other words, they're not far apart. They're like 20 meters apart, some only 10 meters. So if we drill one hole, we can actually catch 2 or 3 of these veins. And we want to catch them at depth. And we're very positive that the grade increases towards depths, because the old timers mentioned the deeper they were digging, the better was the grade.
Yeah.
So we want to under-drill the old workings and hit 2 or 3 of those veins, find the mineralization in those, but also check for the grade in the host rock between those veins.
Right.
If we can find even a bit of mineralization, this would be positive for a potential open pit scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and then you mentioned there's the second area, the knoll.
There's a second area, which is further to the west. It's roughly about 10 kilometers as the crow flies to the west. And same scenario, highly frequent veins, even more frequent, I would think. We walk the area. And again, we want to drill 6 holes. All of the holes are roughly 200 meters long. And we want to, again, underdrill the old workings and find out what's in those veins.
So in total, it's just over 2,000 meters of drilling.
Yes.
We should be able to get that done in probably 6 weeks of work.
We worked it out. They can drill 60 meters a day, per shift, sorry. If they drill double shift, it's 120 meters. That's about 20 days, plus give them time to move from one side to another. So 30 days, and we should have the drilling done. Yeah. Then it goes into the warehouse, then it gets locked, then it gets sampled, and then it gets shipped off to our lab in Marrakesh, which we know so well.
Yeah.
And they have a very quick turnaround time.
Oh, so pretty good. Okay. Just recapping on our other projects, because we do have Silver Hill. Silver Hill, we have known results, right? Silver Hill, despite our excitement about Addana, we shouldn't forget it as a project. In many ways, Silver Hill already could potentially hold as much minerals as Combat did, right?
I am very excited about Silver Hill because we have two types of mineralization. The one is kind of a bulk disseminated mineralization sitting at depth. And we had a couple of holes in there, which is mainly malachite and copper oxides, but highly concentrated, and that would be a bulk target. Then we have a second mineralization type, which is along a quartz vein with plenty of chalcopyrite and bornite. Bornite is a very high-grade copper ore,
right?
One of the highest, actually. And this quartz vein follows the contact between the Cambrian sediments and the Ordovician sediments. It follows that contact, and we could mine along the contact. There have been some adits blasted into that vein,
right?
And it's basically open for us to do more mining there.
Just to remind people, at Silver Hill, we had hole S1 was 14 meters, 74 grams silver, 1.1% copper. S3, 7 meters, 48.6 grams silver, 0.75 copper. Then we had hole 13, which was 8 meters at 121 gram per ton silver and 1.77% copper. Like, there's some good holes for
some really good holes, and we have actually laid out the next round of drilling. And number one, it follows. We had 2 lines drilled along target number 1, and we want to infill there and also build along strikes to increase this target number 1. Target number 2 was also kind of a bulk target, this S9, where we also had a trench which was highly mineralized, and we want to follow on this trend. And then we have this quartz vein which we want to drill, which is short holes, because we just have to drill through 20 meters of cover rock, and we're on this quartz vein.
Okay.
So there are 3 targets there which can be drilled very quickly.
All right. And then along with the silver and copper, we every now and then we see some cobalt. Pretty interesting geology there. But we still have our roots in Namibia and our roots in copper. We're earning in on our Kalahari project there, which probably one of the most prospective copper exploration areas on the planet right now. Can you share a little bit about your thoughts there?
Just to give you a little bit of background, we have the Copperbelt in the Congo and in Zambia, and it is believed that it continues into Botswana under Kalahari sand cover, and there are actually mines. Sandfire, actually mines in Botswana. They're in production, and this entire geology follows the Botswana trend across the border into Namibia.
Yeah.
We are right on the Namibian-Botswana border. We have a little bit of Kalahari sand cover, but the geology is there. Our neighbors drilled a very good hole close to our boundary, so we know exactly where to start exploration. We have flown a mag survey, drone-based mag survey, with a very high resolution, and we did a 3D inversion to come up with the geology underground, under the cover, and it was beautifully demonstrated. And the latest is we're actually busy laying out holes to target for these targets in the underground. It's going to be holes of something like 200 meters down. And we think it's in the fold hinges and saddles. This is where the mineralization should sit.
Yeah.
And it's one of our targets. And yeah, maybe next year we can hit some holes into the Zambian Copperbelt in Namibia.
I think one thing that excites me about the portfolio is we're not looking for small things here, right? Like Addana, got big scale, Kalahari Belt, big scale, Silver Hill, provided we can consolidate some of the land around it, could also be a really big project.
Yeah, especially when you look at the Lufilian Arc. Some of the biggest copper mines are along the Lufilian Arc in the Congo, in Zambia, and now we have those mines in Botswana, and we're just a long strike.
Right.
So I'm very hopeful that we can hit something good there. And looking at Morocco with Addana, it's the amount of veins that are available for drilling, which is enormous.
Yeah.
It's literally thousands of them. Where do you start actually?
Yeah. No, I'll always say I'm an engineer, which means I don't have the imagination of a geologist, but you don't need imagination for Addana. There's lots there you can already see.
No, you tumble from one vein to another.
Yeah, that's great.
And you could go on for days or weeks.
As a company, we're still obviously exposed to copper because that's impacting the cash that's coming in from the Combat mine, and then also we do have the Kalahari project as well. But over this next little while, I think silver is gonna really kind of take over as a story, and it's hard. It's hard to find a good silver exploration project, and I think we have a place. Yeah.
Also, there's a strong belief that silver will play a very important role in this new AI revolution that we're entering in here.
Silver also has a pretty unique relationship in the investment market.
In terms of the project that we have with Addana, I think we're hitting the timing perfectly.